Hey guys, I'm Michelle, and today we're going to be going over our first semester of nursing school, what I did to get through that. Alright, so y'all bear with me. I've never done a YouTube video, so here we go. Alright, so as I said in my previous post, I wanted to go over my binder, and I'm going to go over that first before I jump into the book and all that. So, my binder is this huge honking thing right here. And I put some pretty little pictures in there of me and my hubby and my 3 kids. Motivation. Oh, I don't have my calendar in. I don't even know where that's at. Maybe it's stuck in here somewhere. Usually I have a calendar here. I started out with a big planner. Let me see. Here it is. I started out with one of these. Look at my pretty little picture. Oh, first semester you'll get to do one of these bad boys. But yeah, I started out with this, and so I'll show you my calendar here. And it was helpful, but I just got tired of carrying this big thing around, so I actually found just loose paper calendars, and I was able to stick them in my binder. And hopefully I'll find those for you, and I'll show them to you. So this is what my first semester, my first semester looked like. So our teachers were really good about like giving us a calendar, and so I just took that calendar, wrote it down in here. I was able to like highlight stuff. I kind of like color coded stuff, like my exam. Of course, I would mark that in yellow and like put red stuff around it. My like EHRs, which is like our online like computer, like how to learn how to use the computer, like charting and kind of thing. I did that in green. I did like my clinical homework. Some of this is they give you a calendar, but it's not all together. Like they'll tell you, they'll give you like a sheet with all of your clinical homework and the dates beside it. Then they'll give you a sheet with all of your adaptive quiz dates due, and the dates will be beside it. So you really need to compact all that together in one place, because if not, you're going to miss it. Because our program was like zip, zip, boom, and we were done. It's like, it seems like every day, it seems like we had something due, and if something wasn't due, you were working or studying, and you even need to mark, sometimes you have to mark like, today I'm studying. Like if you work, I'm not the best person to talk to about that, but I do have 3 kids, so I've had to say like, my kids they have to go to daycare this day. And that doesn't always work out. Like this week, they were supposed to go to daycare and they were sick. So I'm way behind on my next semester already. So you just gotta roll with the punches. Life isn't always easy, and it's definitely, it's life. So try to plan ahead, try to stay ahead. That still doesn't always happen. If you fall behind, just don't give up. I mean, you just can't. Like, you have 4 semesters. Well, my program was 4 semesters, which is like 16 months or 15 months, something like that. So, anyways, I'm just kind of looking over my stuff. Adaptive quiz is a big thing. I wrote that up here. I'm talking about it's backwards, but instead of writing out adaptive quiz, I wrote AQ, and that's what a lot of us abbreviated as on our calendars. You want to make sure you stay on top of those, because they sneak up on you. And they don't count for a lot, but I promise you, in nursing school, every 0.01 of a point, you're going to want that 0.01 of a point, because you got to maintain a 77. So, and that's an easy grade. Like, it's it seems overwhelming at first. I remember being like, oh my god, adaptive quizzing is due. It's going to take forever. And sometimes it did, y'all. There was one time I stayed up all night trying to finish adaptive quizzing, and I still didn't finish. Like, you have to do it so much, and it'll finally pass you. Well, I could not pass it. Like, it wouldn't give me the pass grade. So, like, I went to my teacher the next day, and I was like, listen, I tried, and, like, they can see how many hours you spent on it, and it was, like, 8 hours or something crazy. Like, it shouldn't have taken that long. So they wound up giving me, points for that. But, I mean, I don't like doing that. Like, I didn't have to do that very often, and it wasn't really my fault. So, let's stay on top of those. Let's see. And Miss Gonzalez will be in to see you guys, like, probably the first or second week of school, something like that. She's going to go over some, like, really good, like, study techniques and stuff. So take note of her stuff. She's really good. I wound up having to go see her for, like, tutoring, because I was kind of I never fell, like, below a 77. Sorry, I'm reading stuff as it pops up on my screen. But I was able to, I mean, I was in a scary, like, position. Like, I didn't want to fall too low, because sometimes you fall so low and you can't bring it back up. And you don't want to fail out because of that. So, don't be afraid to go see Miss Gonzalez. She's great. And, yeah, so there's that. Alright, so my binder. And also, so on the back, I usually have my calendar, like I said, loose leaf. On the front, this is our clinical grid. Very intimidating, but you'll learn how to read it. I don't really need to go into that. They'll explain that to you. I'm sure everybody's is different. They may even, this was new to us. Like, this was our last semester, like, third semester clinical grid, so it may be different. So, they're going to give you modules. And say, like, let me open my calendar back up again. Alright, so, like, say your first exam. I wasn't very good at writing down my units on this. Let me see if I can find where I wrote down the units for the exams. You kind of, I mean, you start off, and I had nobody really helping me. I mean, I had some people help me, but it wasn't like, you still start off and you just don't know anything. Everybody feels that way, so just hang in there. I promise it'll get a little better. Alright, so, like, exam 7, it says it's unit 5, module 1. So, each test is based on, like, units, and there's different modules. You'll get the hang of that. I don't really need to go in that. So, say exam 7, unit 5, module 1 through 3. That's how I set up my planner. I set my planner up by test. So, I go in, and I personally like to print out my PowerPoints. Like, to me, it's a must. I'm a very tactile person. Like, I have to, like, write it to know it. Like, I wish I was one of those people that could just read something and boom, like, photographic memory, whatever you call it. Not so much. Some things I am, but not everything. There's just so much that it's, I mean, I don't really think anybody's that smart, to be honest, in this program, just because it's so much information. I mean, you can be that smart, but then you can only retain so much information. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so I take each test and then I divide it into sections. Like, you can see my little tabs here. So I print out my modules and, like, say this was chapter 35, and that'll also be on your calendar. Like, you'll see, like, unit whatever, say unit 5, module 1 is going to be chapter 35 on dysrhythmias. So you print that out, put it in your handy dandy binder. Then you take this to class. Like, you need this before you go into class. And it's also wise to review your PowerPoints before you even go to class, because then when you get to class and the teacher starts talking about the lesson, then you're like, oh, I remember reading this, and it kind of makes you like hang on to it better. Like it just makes you remember it better. Then you can take notes. So it's like you review it, you learn it in class again, and then you take notes. So it's like that's 3 different exposures that you've had to this lesson, and it just helps. And you also want to go, a lot of people read before class. I have only had that luxury like once or twice, and it really does help. I just don't have that kind of time. So, anyways. Hey!
Who is that?
But I'm going to take a break because my baby just came in.